Restaurants, hotels, and other businesses that survived the pandemic now face a new crisis: not enough workers. Across the country, businesses are struggling to fill many positions just as large numbers of Americans get vaccinated and look forward to vacations. Our lead national correspondent, David Begnaud, is in Long Beach, New York. David, good morning.
Good morning to you. Look, with the end of the pandemic in sight, we're all ready to travel, right? And as you get ready to travel, you're going to find that some bars, restaurants, and hotels are having a hard time finding workers. A lot of people left, and they need them to come back to work. A good example of that is Cape Cod in Massachusetts. That's where we're going to take you to this morning. Welcome to the beautiful Cape Cod, the iconic seaside tourist destination that roughly 2 million people visit every summer. Tourists are not the only summer visitors, though. Businesses typically hire between 15,000 and 20,000 extra workers to keep up with the summer demand. But this year, finding enough staff is becoming a real problem.
We're going to be more efficient.
David Colombo has 3 restaurants, one that boasts the best lobster roll in New England. Pretty good eating.
What are you applying for?
Colombo says he needs to find about 40 more workers. So you're just waiting for 40 people to walk through the door?
And it's funny, this year you have to entice them a little more. You know, they know the situation. Well, you give them more money and so on and so forth. But
that's interesting.
Yeah. You know,
a little bit more demand.
They have a little bit of the upper hand right now. And, you know, it's better than having nobody, you know.
What are you willing to pay? A little bit more?
Well, that's, you know, I wish not to say that because they may be listening.
There are several barriers causing the worker shortage, says Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce CEO Wendy Northcross.
People stay home, they crunch the numbers, and they see what their unemployment benefits are versus what their potential exposure is versus their child care needs, and they're making decisions to just kind of sit out another summer.
You know, similar hurdles are threatening other beach towns. Tourism is a nearly $7 billion business in Cape May County, which is in New Jersey. Chamber of Commerce President Vicki Clark says a backlog of temporary J-1 student visas are adding to the problem.
That program did not happen last year because of COVID, and there is a huge backlog of visa applications this year. Not all embassies around the world have opened up, and so students are having a very difficult time getting their visa appointments.
So tell me, how many employees do you need?
We blossomed to 675 employees during high season. So we need to bring about 400 employees.
Back on Cape Cod in Massachusetts, Gary Thulander runs the Chatham Bars Inn, and he's dealing with the same problem. Roughly 125 of his employees need to get a temporary work visa in order to work for him. And when we met him, he had some good news to share.
The consulates just opened up in the Eastern Bloc countries and also Jamaica and Dominican Republic. And that's going to help us dramatically filling out our needs for staffing levels coming up.
That's big news for you.
It's huge news for us, absolutely.
You know, it really comes down to unemployment benefits and temporary work visas. But there's also a temporary housing issue, Anthony. We were told that on Cape Cod, a lot of people moved out of the big cities, say Boston, for example, moved to Cape Cod to work from home during the pandemic. And now some of these temporary workers are saying, hey, I'll go back to Cape Cod to work, but I'm having a hard time finding a place to live while I'm there.
Yeah, a lot of people moved around in the pandemic. David doing a bit of a shore tour there. Thank you, David.
Right.
And some nice eating on Cape Cod.
Yeah, that lobster roll looks good. Tastes
Looks really good. Yeah, no.
But guys, if the unemployment benefits, you get more staying home than if you get a job. Well, what is the incentive to go get a job?
Well, that was the complaint to some degree about the stimulus package, was that people getting these checks were going to be less related. But I don't buy that. If you got no, because if you see that there's a job opening, you want to get in a job before somebody else takes it.
The housing is a bigger issue.
Yes.
Because when you don't have many things open, the prices go through the roof, and no one can pay you enough to cover that.
Right, and the visa issue, which is because a lot of these resort communities rely on foreign workers. They do in the summer, particularly.